ng maayos na buhay dito sa Amerika, hindi nyo po makukuha yan. Medyo mahirap po kung hindi nasa ayos ang inyong immigration status or ang inyong mga immigration documents. That's why here on the show, we also try to explain immigration updates to you through our American Dreams portion.
This American Dream segment is brought to you by Aquino & Lowe Law Firm, answering your immigration questions.
Attorney Richard Lowe of Aquino & Lowe Law Firm, hello and welcome once again to Kababayan, LA.
Hello.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about the second preference, in particular the 2A preference, which is for permanent residents petitioning for their spouses or children.
Yes, in the past I've heard about this also before. Like, I know that my parents didn't wait, so they were legal permanent residents when they filed for my petition, but some people wait till their parents are citizens, or even the husband or the spouse or the wife is a U.S. citizen before they file for petition. Does that matter still nowadays?
You know, it doesn't matter so much now. Before, it used to be that the 2A category was about 5-year wait, and the 5-year wait essentially was about the time that it took the permanent resident to become a U.S. citizen. So many people thought, well, I'll just wait till I'm a U.S. citizen to petition my children or my wife. But now the category that's really changed. Since about 6 months ago, they've been moving up, and we're now to the point where the 2A category, which is what we're talking about, is only about 3 or 4 months behind. So essentially, the time that it takes you to file a petition, get it processed and adjudicated, your priority date will be current.
And I always hear that anyways, it's better always to file sooner rather than later. What risks do you run when you file later?
Well, there are a lot of reasons to file as soon as you can. I understand that people sometimes look at the wait and they think, well, why am I going to do this now? And it seems daunting. But you want to get the petition in to first establish a priority date, because you just don't know what the categories are going to do in the future. And the second, sometimes people are waiting not only just to file the petition, but also to get married.
Right.
And they think, well, I'll just get married when I'm a citizen. And that can be a real problem if there are stepchildren involved, because you need to establish the relationship, the marriage, prior to that stepchild turning 18.
Okay.
So even if you become a U.S. citizen and the child is 19, it's going to be too late, and you're not going to be able to petition for that child.
And I hear that a lot too also, Liz, just because people still ask me about it on email, on Twitter also. Is it faster to file for petition for a spouse if you are a legal permanent resident, or if you are, if you are a U.S. citizen, is it faster to file a petition for your spouse or for a fiancé?
Well, if you're a U.S. citizen, then you can do either a spouse or a fiancé petition, depending on how you want to go. There is a slight difference. The fiancé petitions are a little bit quicker, but we're talking a matter of months. So I don't think that that's really a choice of the immigration law. It's more of a personal choice whether you want to have a ceremony in the United States with your family here, or if you want to have a ceremony in the Philippines with the family that's there.
What's the climate right now in terms of immigration? You know, we just had the midterm elections. The Republicans took control again of the House. So how will that change all these talks about immigration reform?
Well, you know, it's an interesting question. I think all of us, when Obama was elected president and we had a Democratic Congress, we thought that there would be some movement on the immigration front. And there was talk for a while. Obama gave a very good speech about pro-immigration rights. But with the new Congress, I think what you're going to find is that there's going to be a real chilling effect on what the rest of the presidency is going to do and what the Senate is going to do as far as doing an immigration reform. The person who's being slated to take over the committee which is in charge of immigration in Congress is Lamar Smith, and he's very anti-immigration.
Okay. So you would suggest that's another thing, file earlier rather than later. How long does the processing take for F2A now?
Well, F2A, probably from filing the petition and being here in the United States, it's going to take somewhere between a year and year and a half, depending on how everything goes.
Do you suggest of filing also concurrently, or like you file now, you're legal permanent resident, and then somewhere a few years down the road, you know, it's still not moving, and then you become a citizen, you file again?
Well, the nice thing about this is, if let's say you're a permanent resident, you file for your spouse and you file for the stepchildren or your minor children. When you become a citizen, those petitions automatically get changed over to immediate relative petitions. So you don't have to refile anything. You just simply jump to another category, and then they come in as an immediate relative.
And this sounds like good news for a lot of our Kababayans that are still waiting for their petition. You know, it used to take a long time, long wait. So what other categories have been affected?
Well, basically all the categories have been affected to some degree, but because the wait was only 5 years for permanent residents, spouses, and children, that's one that you see immediate results. But all the other categories have also jumped up. For example, the 2B category, which is for adult children of permanent residents, the wait used to be 1998, and now it's 2002. So it's gone from 8 to 12 years. Yes, it's reasonable.
So the best part of this interview is file sooner rather than later. And if you need more information, I'm sure you will need assistance, that's the number to call on the screen. Attorney Richard Lowe gives free office consultation along with Attorney Allison Aquino of Aquino and Lowe Law Firm. Thank you so much, and more power to you.
Thank you.
Bankruptcy and real estate laws when we return. Don't go away.